Chronicles of the Tube. Oh no. So to the surprise of very few people, I know there's some people have been a bit in denial about this, and so maybe they'll be surprised, maybe they'll say they're surprised, but deep down inside, is this a surprise? Doctor Who's Christmas special this year, it was announced, what time is it just now? It's currently like 12:30, about an hour and a half ago, from my perspective, and plus however long it takes me to put this up. It's just been announced that the Doctor Who Christmas special this year it's been cancelled, and I don't usually make videos talking about the Doctor Who news and immediate things. I did actually when we had missing episodes turn up. I did a video about that, and I was like, that feels like something worth talking about. So I think the writing's been on the wall for this one for a little while now. We had the regeneration at the end of season, what are we calling it, 2? Season 15. When the regeneration, just over a year ago, supposedly Ncuti Gatwa into Billie Piper, and there's like, okay, well, where's that going? Nowhere. It's going nowhere. Did anyone really think that was going to go anywhere? Like, I don't know what I thought. To be honest, I'm not sure I really fully believed that was going to be anything. In some ways, it's a shame. If that Christmas special had happened at Christmas this year, because of how long the gap's been between the end of the last season and this coming Christmas, and I made a video a couple of years ago about gaps between Doctor Who, this would have been a pretty long one, because by merit of how long between her first appearance and what would have been, if she'd been the Doctor in it, even if she'd left at the start of the episode, her next appearance, Billie Piper would have been the Doctor for longer than Ncuti Gatwa, even though Ncuti had 2 seasons and 2 Christmas specials. And I like Ncuti, I do, but that would have been really funny. There's something very funny about someone being the Doctor for 5 seconds that's longer than the Doctor for 2 seasons. I don't know, maybe that's just me, I'd have found that quite funny. But yeah, so then we had the announcement, there's going to be a Christmas special, not this coming Christmas, but the next Christmas. Okay, well, I guess that gives you time to work out what on earth you're going to do, because clearly this was a very last minute decision. I don't think anyone believes that was always a plan, because of course it wasn't. They filmed a different ending, and then Ncuti left, and then they had to hurriedly refilm this new ending, and they're like, but who's free? Billie Piper's recording lines for this 20 years of New Who. Just stick her face on top of Ncuti's body. We'll call that an ending. Introducing Billie Piper, not as the Doctor, just introducing her. Who is she? We will never know. We will never know. So, jumping forward a little bit, the announcement itself is Russell gone. Bad Wolf gone. Okay, to be honest, fine. I'm feeling very over Russell these days. I'll get back round to that. But so the current message is when the show comes back, it'll be put out to tenure to a different company, and will it? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, then it was announced. There's no sign of anything happening. Murray Gold told us, there's 3 different scripts depending on who's available. Liar. That's not that. There, as olden days collaborator Goomba has pointed out, there's not been a single word of script written for any of this. Nothing. I don't think anything's been done. Murray Gold made that up. Source, I made it up. So then, nothing, no sign of it filming, and it's like, well, you're leaving it a bit close to the wire to get this filmed and edited in time for Christmas. I mean, it can be done. Will it though? Will it? I don't know. And then it was announced it was being pushed back to Easter, and I thought, okay, yeah, this isn't happening at all. And I saw the actual proper YouTube Doctor Who people. Do you know there's a tier list a while back? This is going back like 4 years or so. Someone made a Doctor Who YouTuber tier list, and I was on it for some reason. Do I count? I mean, I know I make videos about Doctor Who sometimes, but I mean, no one's watching them, and also like it's. I feel like and we're getting sidetracked. So I think we were pretty sure by that point it's not happening. And then today, this is the 10th June, 11 o'clock, BBC were like, yeah, that's not happening. It's not happening. It's not. We're putting the show on a bit of a rest. I don't think many people are going to be surprised. I feel like the bulk of the people who I've been following on YouTube that talk about Doctor Who have been fairly sort of down on the probability of this ever happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. But what I'm wondering about now is where this is going to leave everything. Because supposedly it's coming back, they're going to get a new company in to do it, but like, are they though? I wasn't born in 1990, sort of 1989, 1990. I hadn't been born yet when we had a sort of similar situation where it was like, yeah, Doctor Who, it's coming, it's going to come. They never really officially cancelled it. Certainly not with any immediacy. There was a good few years, from what I've heard, there's a good few years where they're like, yeah, would you have a little bit of a rest just now, don't worry. And then that rest turned into 15 years, out of which only one had a full-length episode of Doctor Who in it. Is that what's happening? Is this Wilderness 2? This might be Wilderness 2. I know there's a lot of people are wanting the show to take a rest, and I mean, I'm not against the idea in principle, like a couple of years off, so that, you know, it's not really as popular, I think, right now as it's been, which is a shame. I didn't hate the Chibnall era. It wasn't my favourite, but I didn't dislike it. I didn't particularly dislike the recent Russell era. It just felt like, how can I word this in a way that's not just repeating anything? I feel like a lot of people have analysed things better than I could. Russell feels like someone who wants to be seen to be saying the right thing, but doesn't particularly have much conviction one way or the other. That's the vibe he's been giving off in seasons 1 and 2. But yeah, mostly season 1. The anniversary specials were pretty decent, although again, even then there was bits like, okay, yeah. But I had a lot higher hopes. Like, It's a Sin was really good. And I thought, well, what else of his? I never saw Years and Years. Never checked that one out. But a lot of his other stuff in between Doctor Who and Doctor Who I did see. I was like, yeah, he's making some quite good stuff. The tail end of his run on the original Doctor Who, I remember thinking a couple of years after he'd gone, watching back the specials, the 2009 specials, and thinking, I'm kind of glad that was it, because things seem to be trailing off into a weird I don't know, there's a vibe that I just wasn't, I didn't mind for a couple of specials, but I wouldn't have been wild on having, for everything felt kind of too big and too sort of not self-important in the sort of weirdly self-referential way that Moffat's run became, where everything is a callback, but everything felt too, I don't know, important. I quite like the change of tone we had in season 5. So yeah, I kind of was hopeful that Russell maybe had all the stuff that he'd done in between, he'd come back with a fresh approach. He didn't really. Like, there were some good episodes, I think most of which were not written by Russell, and some really lackluster finales. I went to see them both in the cinema. I quite enjoyed seeing them in the cinema. I didn't think they were good, but I had fun, because I think seeing Doctor Who in a room with other Doctor Who fans, like a massive screen where all other fans are, I think that's just kind of an exciting thing. But it's just been a bit of a nothing. I've enjoyed it, but it's not been the best. But I I think I still prefer bad Doctor Who to no Doctor Who, but at the same time, I do accept I'm probably in a minority for that. The viewing figures would suggest that if Doctor Who is not great, people aren't, as a general public, Doctor Who fans are going to watch it no matter what. Up to a point, I do see a lot of, even the really hardcore fans are like, nah. So, yeah, it might just be me. But it might not be a bad idea to take a bit of time off to let people forget the bad stuff and then come back when people are kind of missing things, but come back refreshed, different, in the way that 2005 kind of did. And I think that the Russell era 2 was trying to be 2005 in the way of just doing that again, doing 2005 again, and that's, whereas 2005 Doctor Who kind of broke out of the format of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and I think maybe that format has now also run its course. What would a new format be? I don't know. I don't make modern television. I'm going to watch it whatever. So whatever the young ones are watching, I'm not one of them anymore. I will be 34 in a couple of weeks. Do something interesting with it. You have options, and I think some people are calling for full reboot, just completely slate wipe. Is that necessary? I feel like, again, 2005, at least to start with, didn't delete the continuity of the past. It just kind of ignored it for the most part and sort of picked and chose. It just selected the things that it wanted, and it didn't worry too much about the other stuff. And then as it went along, it's like, oh, let's bring this in, let's bring that in, or and I think that worked quite well. But you could reset everything and just have it start again from scratch. But I mean, what would that be? The presumably there will be Daleks, there will be the TARDIS. Otherwise, if you kind of, and regeneration and things like that. Otherwise, I think you start to ask, is this the same? What elements do you need to have for it to be the same show? And then how do you introduce those elements? And sure, we could start over and reintroduce the Daleks. Is there a better way to have the Daleks as a new thing? I don't know. I'm not convinced that Fresh Slate would work. Prove me wrong if you want to do that, and sure. But yeah, my concern is not so much that we're going to have a gap of 3 to 5 years, which, I mean, certainly feels like it could happen. My concern is more that we're going to have a gap. It's just going to either not come back, or it's going to come back when in 15 years' time, when I'm 50, and then I'm just going to not have Doctor. There's other things I enjoy. Obviously, I was saying this before, I don't just make videos about Doctor Who. It's not my only thing. But it is kind of my main thing. I surround myself with Doctor Who stuff. If you've seen any angle of my house that I occupy, there's very hard to look in any direction and not see Doctor Who stuff. And, I can live without there being new Doctor Who stuff. There's enough old stuff. I have a lot of stuff. I probably have enough stuff. And maybe that's true for the amount of Doctor Who. I feel like I'd miss it. There's just something exciting about new Doctor Who that I think I'd kind of miss. And if it was fully put to rest for a decade and a half, I feel like it would fizzle a bit more out of the public consciousness, and it's not a bad thing, it being sort of a niche interest, but I quite like that there's this sort of... See, am I speculating that the Doctor Who fan community will just sort of fizzle away? I don't know. Will it? Maybe. Perhaps I'm just overly pessimistic. I think maybe I am a pessimist in general. I'm in one of my little dips at the moment, so perhaps I'm not looking at things glass half full. Yeah, Doctor Who, for the time being, no. No Doctor Who. Will there be Doctor Who in the future? Maybe. I don't know. They're saying there will be, but they also said there'd be a Christmas special at the end of this year. So, can we believe them? Nah. There might be. But I'm not going to be shocked if there's not. I'll be sad, but I'm not going to be shocked if that's just it for the foreseeable. Hopefully we'll find some more missing episodes or something. There's going to be that animated series, supposedly, the CBeebies show. Is that how I'm going to get my fix? Maybe. I probably will watch it. So, yeah, I'm... Who knows what the future holds? Not me. Do I even exist in the future? I don't know. I've not been there yet. So come back next time there's anything for me to talk about. Or I'll make something that's not Doctor Who related, probably. I have a notion to do some more Doctor Who numbers. I thought of another good Doctor Who numbers thing. Actually, it's based on something I brushed on in this one. So that's a little spoiler. Once my mood is back out of the toilet, this hasn't helped. Once my mood's back out of the toilet, maybe I'll make something. Who knows? Bye.